You were doing cupping too.
Yeah, they just cut. They just like the mix. They were like mixing holistic with like non-holistic medicine. The place I went to.
I see. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'm getting all this media set up here. I was just thinking about you. Didn't I say something about Jordan the other day? Yesterday? I was just thinking about you. It's like you can read my mind.
Whenever I think about like a girl or something going on, I like it's like frequency. I hate you think it's me. Things that you like studied on the brain and stuff like that sent out like frequency.
Oh, that's strange. Okay. All right. We are golden. We are good to go. All right. All right. So tell me, ever since we last spoken, what's been going on?
Essentially went back into like bad days stuff. Um, I overdosed again. I got resuscitated by the ambulance. Changed my perspective. I just like want to do whatever I can to feel better. I found this place that was like a rapid detox place in Detroit. And I took a flight out there. It was like a 4 day thing, and they gave you while they put you through the hard part of the withdrawals. They say they get you to pause, but I'm pretty sure I'm at acute phase. My symptoms,
Yeah.
so I can't really. I'm just now able to like drink water without throwing it up. I tried the brat diet. I couldn't even like eat applesauce or anything.
Right. I've never had someone who died so many times and come back to life. Did you see any experience, near death experience?
Black, my brain, black.
No light, no light, no sense of a universe, something that loves
Everything
you.
went
Just went dark.
dark.
Mm. Mm. Okay, so this place treats you chemically,
Yeah,
right?
like
They give you medicine.
you have a bunch of restrictions for like stomach problems.
Is there a therapist in there that um
You call them a hospital if you want. That was that. I remember.
no, it's okay. Most of the information we get from the patient themselves. Uh is there a therapist, a talk therapist in there that you talk to? So they just there to treat you medicinally and chemically.
Yeah,
Get your body to
they
go back into
quiet.
baseline,
Yeah,
pretty
they
much.
didn't cut him. Like, it got rid of a lot of my back pain. Like, to help reset your mindset. I don't know. I found out my mom was like doing drugs when I was in her when I was born. So I'm like, I feel like I'm like messed up, like
Oh.
permanent.
Hmm. Have you talked to anyone since we last spoken? A talk therapist?
The first time I tried, I just got back from it. 4 day process.
Right.
But they didn't want me to leave. They wanted me to stay one more day. But I was literally hallucinating from the medications they were giving me. So I wanted to leave. I figured I could just do the same stuff here. I just went to an IV place. That's what they were pretty much doing. Taking like the same stuff they were giving me.
I see. So did we lay off the females or the females still in your life?
Uh, kind of talked to my ex, but like, there's nothing really like there.
Hmm. Has she been helping you throughout this process? She's still the same who she was.
Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time with her. I don't think she really knows me because she really does.
Hmm. I'm just trying to rewind my head since the last time we spoke. And this is why I have to record, just because there's so many counseling sessions. into the details of what you told me. She's still using, right? No, she stopped too.
She
Mm.
overdosed on fentanyl and stuff.
Since we last spoken,
Yeah, after I broke up with her. And,
so you got back with her after we spoken.
no, I didn't get back with her. That's why I checked up on her. I'm afraid that
Hmm. So at this time, you still have attachment to her.
I need to check up and make sure she's okay. Really more than that.
You're
I
pretty
don't
much.
have really feelings from her. I know she's like doing stuff with other guys. I just wanted to be healthy and alive.
Hmm. How's your parents been?
Probably don't want me talking about all the stuff going on, but there's a lot going on with them now.
Oh,
I don't know if my dad was home with you. Like,
I see. That's fine. That's fine.
a tremendous amount of pressure on his business, his business, his, my mom's salon, a lot of things fall apart really quick.
Okay. All right.
It's sort of coming back together slowly.
Yeah, it's got its up and downs. Okay.
Someone made like allegedly made like accusations. I guess I guess my mom said that he was like cheating on her or something, and
Hmm.
then he was like telling me he was like crying, like freaking out, and he like telling me that we were gonna have to move to another house, and then like all of a sudden her mindset like switched, and she just like decided to stay with him because I think she's only doing it for me because she knows it would like affect me negatively. I feel like she was looking for the wrong reason.
That puts a lot of stress on you.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm never gonna be truly happy
Huh.
with each other. My mom expresses it all the time.
Hmm.
But he's starting to. He basically took like 5, 6 years off of real estate. My mom had to pay all the bills. He got in a bunch of debt.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he was like depressed. Now his commercial real estate's picking up. He has like 4.5 million of like sales, like for commercial properties.
Huh.
So he's starting to do better now.
Right. Yeah. It'd be like that. Life's got its up and downs.
But his company doesn't even want to allow him in his office anymore after he worked for him for 20 years because of the accusation that he
Hmm.
didn't even have any proof, really.
Hmm. Isn't that crazy with life? So much drama. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, they basically told me they haven't been in love for like 11 years. Like, because they made me like sit out there while they were talking. I didn't want to be part of it. But, like, dad like made me sit there and hear his like point of view and kind of like made me think of him differently, I guess. I still try to love him, support him. My dad,
Yeah.
be like, wrong.
Well, that's a lot of men out there. They they give in to their biological cravings. In my country, it's normal. Men in my country have the bigger wife, the little wife, and the cutie. That's what they call it. Bà lớn, bà nhỏ, cục cưng is the cutie. Yeah, but they do. They try to get away with it. They get caught all the time.
Do you think that's right to do?
Uh huh.
Do you think that's right to do or wrong?
Here's my view on it, and it's quite controversial because, well, I'm in religious robes, and religion says one life, one love type deal, right? You have to go deep into the reason why people cheat. So when we study anthropology, history,
You said because he is
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, people's got needs. and once those needs are not met, they're gonna look elsewhere. That's just a given. You know what I mean? Just like all of us who have needs. I mean,
So is it her fault for not submitting to them? Because he doesn't want to do it anymore?
well,
Or is it his fault for not just putting up with it full day?
I think that there's a lack of communication. But we have a type of therapist called sexologist. Sexologist. As a matter of fact, I have a friend that's a sexologist that's visiting from Cali. He's here in Miami right now, and I'm seeing him. And if you don't communicate, how are other people supposed to know? The number one killer in marriage has always been communications. So if you don't express your needs and want or lack thereof, oh, the person is not a
They
uh,
said they're going to get
fortune
together
teller.
again.
Yeah, I think they should. I think they should. But man's been doing this for thousands of years. Hundreds and thousands of years.
It
If
sucks that they were together for like 30 years. I thought they were going to find my whole life. Have these good parents.
mm,
Kind of like change my perspective on a lot of things. I
mm.
always thought he was such a good person.
It doesn't mean that he's a bad person. It just means that they are not informed.
So who do you think would be at fault?
It's difficult to tell, and I can't give you an answer right away because I have to understand both sides of the party in depth to make my impression, like a judge. You know what I mean? Like before a judge rules who's at fault or this guy's
Like,
guilty or
does it
not,
even matter?
I believe the contributions each party makes towards the downfall of their relationship. That's what matters. You have to get all the facts in before you start pointing fingers. That's one of the hardest thing to do. You know. But they'll work it. It always work. If it's always meant to be, it'll always work itself out. That's what I also believe in. Is that my dad's done things and other people's families done it, thousands, probably like 90% of families out there that have done things, regrettable things, but they always come back to each other, no matter how many times things have gone wrong. So have hope, right? The adults will sort it out. I mean, what's more pressing right now is your well-being, and that was what I was trying to prevent more stress on their shoulders by trying to save you. But you had to know, but you had to know how to save yourself. So tell me, why did you come back to Buddhism out of all the therapists that exist out there? Why did you choose to come back here?
The place I was at, they did acupuncture and some of the methods that I saw that you did when they did that, it like, really helped me. It was really beneficial. So I believe in a more holistic approach. I feel like Buddhism is more of a holistic medicinal approach, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Buddhism relies on rationality and
More into
intelligence.
like herbs, like
Right, right.
kind
That's
of
the
like
organic stuff.
yeah, I feel like that kind of falls into
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Not wrong.
feel like it'd be the best way to heal my mind mentally too. Like, maybe heal my body health. But I have a lot of mental stuff I think sort out.
Mm. You have how long has this been non-sleeping things? Has it been dragging for like a month where you're unable to sleep
I just been exhausted.
from thinking, or the fact that the
I just
drugs?
can't sleep. I'm not really overthinking. I just can't fall asleep.
Oh,
And they told me I wouldn't be able to for a sleep.
oh,
And they told me I wouldn't be able to for a day or two.
oh, okay.
Supposed to be able to sleep tonight, but they said not to sleep during the day because it would mess up my whole like schedule.
Mm.
I thought about taking like a 2, 3 hour nap so exhausted. So I
I'm
didn't
surprised you dragged yourself here.
yeah,
I'm
because
glad
they
your dad
want
drove
help.
you.
I'm in a lot of pain.
Yeah, yeah. Buddhism emphasizes you to be awake. I mean, usually, I mean, just I can't even finish a sentence before you come up with questions trying to pinpoint how to fix their problem. You see how intelligent you are?
Do what they say. Um,
But you're trying to get every angle possible. to come up. You want answers. So that's a good thing. I've never had student like that. When they cut me off, I realized they're quite intelligent. But with intelligence, you can also try to outsmart people and yourself. Try to outdo things. How have you been manipulative? It starts with a plan, right?
Like if my girl, like when we were together for like 5 years, if she was trying to leave, I'd be like, I'm keeping tabs. I'm usually super attached to the tabs. About them. It's like I'm keeping tabs. Like, and then like eventually, like I don't know, it was really toxic. So
Hmm.
like we did, we had a lot of conflict, trust issues. It was very. Like, I woke up one night, it was like a man smashed in my head in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Like she found a message from my cousin. Put on my picture. It wasn't even like something bad.
Huh. She just likes to play WWE on you. World Wrestling.
I did wrestling in high school, so I just used to pick her up, put her down, put her off, crazy. Like, on the down, got the top show up, and the down to like noise complaint. But I'm pretty much done with it. Been done with that for a while. Kind of keep contact.
What are some of your worries now, right now in modern day, in regards to your life right now? Some of the mental struggles.
You know, because like I suffered so many times over and over again. Just sober up and then breathe down the sight. So I just want to figure out how to get this out of my like mental state or like keep in the same pattern.
Right. You need to take that.
That's just calling me right now.
Who?
That girl that we were just talking
Oh,
about.
your
I
ex.
told you every time I talk about someone, they literally call me. I'm not lying. Crazy.
You need to take it.
Yeah, weird. Talking about it. I don't want to talk to her. Honestly, I don't want to. I'm focused on me right now. I can't help her with anything.
What is she struggling with now?
I don't even know.
Is she seeing a therapist?
She's on probation or something. I'm not really honestly worried too much about it. I
Yeah.
just like don't want her to die.
What happened if she dies?
Would affect me really badly because I feel like it was my fault
How?
because I used it around her and then she was influenced, started doing it too.
She's an adult, right? At the time you were dating, she was an adult.
Yeah, but if I wouldn't have done it in the first place, she wouldn't have ever gotten me or ever even known about it or tried it.
Hmm.
Kind of my fault.
Hmm.
But she's really manipulative too. She'll lie to me about stuff. I'll catch her in lies all the time. But she mixes up her words so much. And I'm like, why do you like she's one of those people who just like what is it called when you just keep lying for no reason?
Pathological liar.
She's just a pathological liar. Like she lies about things that like if I was even lying about that, it doesn't make sense.
Right. It's a
She
habit.
always mixes up her words. She's really like dyslexic. So, like I catch her in lies all the time. It's just like I don't even care anymore. I don't really want to be with her. I don't see a future with her, honestly. I don't want to get back with her ever. If we're completely toxic, I just want to separate.
How do you separate if she's calling right now?
I'd have to communicate to her better. Let her know I need my space. Probably, then she'd probably go crazy. Be like showing up at my house and starting to scene. So I don't know, really, the best way to go about it. Cause the least amount of damage. Either way I do it, it's going to affect her tremendously. So it'd be better just to play passive and be her friend.
Hard to tell because I'm only hearing one side of the story. But eventually, yeah, if you don't give the attention, then obviously, hopefully, it dies down the way that we think that it's going to die down. But if you feed into it, of course, you can expect the frequency. What's good is always going to be good, and what's not good is not going to be good. The game that y'all have been playing this long, that's tiring.
Like I was trying to like change her to a better person. I was trying to like push the Bible onto her and stuff like that. She really wasn't into it. I just wanted like in my view, what I was trying to do was trying to make her a better person, build her up. But I feel like I wasn't really helping her. She wasn't really into the whole Christianity as much as I was hoping.
Yeah. Have you been to church?
Not for a while.
Not for a while. How many times you check up on her? In person or just the phone?
Over for a little bit. Like, but we weren't really started at home.
Besides her, what else that you want to start cleaning up in your life?
Possible. Do what I have to, what I have to do to feel healthy again. That's terrible.
Any intrusive thoughts, depression, anxiety? Tell me about the contents of those.
Like constantly thinking like am I gonna mess this up? Can I actually do this without, I guess. But I don't necessarily have freedom for it anymore.
Mm.
But it's just like gone through this so much. I'm so afraid that I'm gonna mess it up and I feel like I'm permanently damaged. And this is like my mom was doing drugs when I was in like the room. I feel like this might be something I should just put like kind of scary.
How did you get information that that was?
So I tried reaching out to her on Facebook because I'm adopted, and I never got to see what my dad looked like. And my mom was like blonde hair, blue eyes, like Irish.
Mm.
And I was just curious what my dad looked like because I'm a little darker complexion, obviously Indian. I don't know. I just wanted to see what he looked like for some reason. Because I never got to see what he looked like ever. I don't know why it was important to me, but months after I tried messaging her on Facebook, some guy messaged me. Doesn't even look like me. He told me he was my stepbrother. And then he said that she was in an insane asylum right now. Been in and out of rehab her whole entire life. And can't really even be able to talk to me because of much of her mental health.
So you think that it was genetic, heredity? Are you addicted to alcohol?
I was like, well, I
Mm.
started doing pills at like 13, then
Mm.
psychedelics at 14. I don't know.
But if you think about it back when you were 14, what were the circumstances like that pushed you towards?
I think it was mindset when I was tripping on shrooms. like I learned a lot about myself. I would take like shrooms and I would go in my room by myself and just trip by myself and think like really in depthly. And then I started getting into like opiates. That's when everything started like erasing all of it, like memories. And I think that's one thing that I was trying to accomplish with the fentanyl is I have like when I was 12 years old, I had a really traumatic experience at a private school that I was sent to, and I try to just forget about it. I was numb it so much, but it doesn't work. It doesn't go there. It's like always there. Like unless I do a lot, I won't think of it, but it always comes back. My thoughts. I've erased a lot of my memory. I know that for sure. I can't get like traumatic experiences out of my head.
You cannot.
Not with the way I was trying to do it now.
But when you were 14, when you did those drugs, what were the circumstances again?
I was out of multiple schools, like on the back of schools. I was always fighting people.
So anger, self doubt.
Yeah, somebody like shoulder checked me or even something. I would start like attacking them.
So there were aggravating factors that led you to use the drugs. You didn't just get bored, sit at home, and said, "Yeah, I feel like trying all these types of drugs."
You know, I found when I was like 12 years old, I found a bunch of like Oxy, Xanax, like my parents' stock store.
Right.
And I guess what they said, they didn't take those pills from their surgery, so that's why they were there.
Hmm.
I started taking them very young.
So,
Before it, I was doing drugs before the violence, but I think that was more of like because I was like always really nervous. Like even if people called on me, I'd start sweating or something, and I realized like one of my friends was always like fighting people, and, like everybody, all the girls liked him and stuff. I was like, I got that.
you see what I'm getting at? I find it difficult to believe heredity and genetics. Just like what is it? Mother's fetal alcohol syndrome, where the mother is an alcoholic and then she passes down certain genes and her typical habit and behavior, and then later on the child becomes an alcoholic also. What kind of damage?
I haven't done a lot of research, but I know if you use drugs while you have a baby in the womb, it really mess them up.
Well, well,
I don't know the severity of it.
what gives me hope? What gives me hope is your willpower coupled with your intelligence channeled the right way. You can swim out of this and not play the blame game.
It's getting better like every day. Nothing there, but progress. Every day, doing a little better.
Hmm.
I just I feel like going I haven't really backed up is the mental state of it. Like my body physically and like healthily, like physically and healthy, but almost like getting there. But like the whole mental part is messed up.
The first thing is we need to get your body well as it's ever gonna get. So you have to rely on these professionals and experts to get your body back to the baseline, so that you are aware, alert, conscious, and breathing normally. After that, you have to exercise discipline and willpower. That means you need to stand tall and have a zero tolerance policy for any bullshit in your life. That means if the ex is giving you, the ex got to go. You hanging out with your buddies and stuff like that too? They've been coming over.
Um, um, I just but even
Mm.
I just have people like and feel bad for me. It's known me a long time.
Uh,
the way it kind of feels.
right. You think that they gave up on you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've seen me try and fail and get sober and try and fail.
Did you think that you gave up on yourself?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to die. I didn't care when I died the first time. Or the second time, the third time kind of changed because I saw I was like with my parents.
Hmm.
I still honestly don't really care about myself. If it didn't affect other people, I would just go out like that fun. But
Hmm.
I have a very pessimistic view on the world nowadays. Not great.
Hmm.
I don't like this world that much. I don't get along with most people.
What is your view of the world?
People. Bible says that the devil's walking marriage now, and I don't know, I'm super against like that transgender stuff. I think that's like straight demonic. Now they're pushing it on kids, and the world's just going down a really bad. I don't know, it just doesn't look very like holy or what I'm used to believing in. It seems like everybody's just going crazy. Like people are changing their pronouns to they, them. Like, I don't even understand everything that's going on now. It just doesn't make sense. And it's like, I feel like it's wrong.
Huh.
I don't want to be part of it.
So if you are a good Christian, how have you exemplified your life for others to see and idolize and look up to what the holy life looked like? See what I'm getting at?
I don't know.
That's right. You see what I'm getting at? Right? Since you were young, you did not keep one commandment. Do you remember the Ten Commandments? Right. How many did you think you kept your entire life? That's right. So how can you expect others to live a holy life? See where I'm coming from? And we can't worry about what other people do, right? If we are Christian, right? If we are Christian, then we need to live. That's it. Just the relationship between you and God. That's it. End
I'm
of
really
story.
big on it. I always forget. I remember I got robbed by like one of my closest friends that I did sports with,
Hmm.
like hit in the back of the head, like bloody, and I'm stuck in the woods, and I had to walk like 3 hours home.
Hmm.
That kind of messed my trust with people. I started getting very scared of people, letting people in, being close to people. I kind of just, I don't know, it kind of just made me a scared person because I thought I was so close to these people, and I thought they were like my brothers. They just kind of backstabbed me and spit out of me and left me bloody in the woods with like no phone or anything. Like all my clothes are like torn up too. They're like whacking me with guns. Like he could have nearly killed me. And I thought they were scared about me. And after that, I kind of started not liking the world as much because I had a lot of similar experiences after that. And I just figured most people just want to be around you for benefits. And I started to notice things like when people would come around, why they would come around, like what did they offer to me, and what did they get out of me. I started thinking more in depthly, and I really realized that pretty much all my friends just use me for what I have, and they don't offer anything in return. But I'm so lonely that I just don't care.
Hmm.
I know what's going on. I need someone to be there for me.
Yeah, it's one hell of a world that we live in. Not just you, but I. I've always so been betrayed by my own people, by my own friends. So I thought I could trust. A lot of fools in this world. Somewhere down the line, we realized this. Somewhere down the line, we realize that these fools don't really serve us or the world. They're actively living devils running around, masked, wearing a mask. So we thought we could trust in a mask that they manipulate others to trust them.
I'm not getting in a position where I didn't know what was going on. My friends would take advantage. So I would get so messed up off the stuff and I'd be nodding out and then they would steal from me. I would know it, but I wouldn't even bring it up.
Yeah.
I have a lot of money and I don't really care about money. I just want to be happy. There's been times where I'm like really conflicted with like what I'm doing too. Like I was so weak and be making a lot of money and then like something would snap in my brain and I would give everything away and like quit selling it for a while. And then I'd work a job for a little bit, realize like I'm getting paid. I could make my paycheck in 30 seconds. Why would I work here? And I could do that. I just felt like I was being a slave to like the system. So I figured I could take more risk for more reward. So I have more free time.
What was your original study plan in college?
Well, I wanted to be an accountant. Now I want to be real estate.
What happened to your ambition from, after high school? What happened? Why have we not cultivated, started an ambition or prompted an ambition? Because your parents gave you everything, so you were quite comfy. You didn't have to think about working.
I
Mm,
never really absolutely found that struggling point.
mm,
I've always had a really good support system.
mm,
They would literally do anything for me. They loved me more than anything in the world. I know that.
mm.
But I also get very scared of when they're gonna die. Now that's gonna affect me. I worry about it like a lot. Think about it a lot. My mom's had a bunch of heart attacks. She's had a major brain surgery that she could have not survived from. My dad is just looks worn down and depressed.
Mm.
Every time I look at him, he's like dragging to get up. He wakes up at like he's so terrified of me overdosing. He wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning every night. He goes check on me in my room to make sure I'm breathing.
Yeah, we spoke about this last time.
Yeah, I know that's really not my mom.
Yeah.
Understand what I did myself.
Mm. So they have enough money to support you if for the rest of your life? Do you think that you are secure for the rest of your life?
We have 4 houses with much no mortgage stuff on them that I could just rent out on Airbnb and VRBO and never have to work. And I'm an only child, so I'm everything at all. But
With the amount of you use, the amount of you use, the money that you use. I'm not saying the amount of drugs that you use, but the amount of money that you use, the amount of money that you buy things and stuff. Have you calculated that out? With 4 houses, the question is, do you have it down to a science about the cost of living, the cost of insurance, the cost of house insurance,
there was no mortgage. All you have to pay is utilities, which are very minimum. And
and property taxes?
my mom's already told me that we profit tremendous money from those properties and they could retire at any time. So
Mm, I see.
they're literally like right next to a private beach.
Mm,
And one of them has like a pool to like pretty high up
mm.
like property. And the house that we're in now is like 100,000.
Have you ever noticed celebrities how they have millions and endless millions, endless bunch of celebrities? What do you notice about their life? Then they use drugs. Then they commit suicide in their own bathtubs. You notice that? You don't.
I don't think
It's all over the news all the time. How celebrities are depressed, have a lot of money. So we think that money brings happiness. Well, that's 90% of Americans. They think money brings them happiness.
we just moved all the money away with like when people started trying to use money. So I think it's evil. But I think the Bible also talks about how it can be used for good stuff too. So it's kind of controversial on
My point is, when you have nothing to look forward to, a career, doing something you love something that you do, and the problem is having money set already, it's too comfortable. When people are too comfortable, there's no meaning and purpose in life. There's no challenge. There's no suffering. Buddhism teaches suffering, and a lot of people are afraid of that word. But some suffering in life is a good thing. It poses challenge for people, solving problems, navigating. But when you're too comfortable, and it becomes like what, like what the hell's going on? There's nothing really to do. I'm bored with life. Let's use drugs because we have nothing else to do. So let's use drugs. That's one way. That's why celebrities do it. They use a bunch of drugs, then they overdose right in their bathtub. Um, I'm obviously not going to name those celebrities, but you just look up historically the patterns, the life of celebrities.
I've heard about fentanyl overdoses from like celebrities. I
And I
just
think
didn't know like
Aaron
why
Carter
it led to it.
and his brother Nick Carter, I think Nick Carter was one of them too that had drugs things. That you are aware that Bill Gates recently divorced his wife, Melinda Gates. Right, that's one of the richest men in the world. You're aware of Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Money can't solve a lot of problems, can it? Right.
Isn't the richest guy that guy in Dubai who owns food and stuff? He's on Forbes list. Yeah,
Not sure, but we can use Bill Gates because his divorce is quite public. And we can also make our monetary comparison that he's got a lot of money and yet still could not save one's marriage. What was the problem? Who knows? Who knows? My point is the point of this conversation is if you don't create challenges for yourself in your life and you just rely on easy money set aside there already, then you are bound to just suffer.
I used to go out and do electrical work. One of my good friends, and he would take me on jobs, and I would make good money, and we'd wake up at like 5 in the morning to work all day. I felt really like rewarded after a long day at work, relaxing. But he begged me to sell him fentanyl, and he literally ended up in the ICU. Never talked to him again.
Hmm.
I regretted it super bad because he kind of manipulated me too. But I would warn him. I was like, I don't want you doing this. It'll kill you. If you're not used to this, you'll die. I told him that multiple times. He was like, oh, it's for a friend at work and he does it all the time. I was so messed up and I wasn't thinking straight. I just gave it to him. And I guess he ended up in ICU. You know, died.
Hmm. You still a Christian? Still have a relationship with God?
Died of pray. Not much as I used to. Used to read the Bible a lot more. Go to church.
Any other questions I missed, Sam? Sam's your age group, so some things I may have missed. He screens in his head during his training.
I don't think you did pretty much all of it, but I mean, I hear your side, I hear your side as well, and I've seen some of the things you've seen, I've dealt with some of the things dealt with not to the extent, but I understand. And it can be difficult, but people are fallible. You know, they're going to do what they're going to do. What we tell them can help sometimes. Sometimes we tell them certain things and they don't want to accept it. They don't want to take it, listen to it. And before I came along, I also had friends who betrayed me. And I also had friends who begged me for certain things. And give it to them, you watch them destroy their own life, and then you feel responsible. If you don't give it to them, they hate you. So, and it's really just our perception on perception and intelligence, thinking about the situation and what happened, and what we contributed, and what we didn't contribute, and whether or not we really are at blame or at fault. So,
I think a good place to start is you adopting a zero tolerance policy for your ex. And here's the truth about anyone dying, either it's your parents or your ex, people who that you care a lot about, is that if karma wanted somebody, karma will have them. And if karma wanted you, it would have took you a long time ago.
Like when I crashed my motorcycle, I was going like 60 miles per hour and I had like no injury. I
So do you accept this as factual and true, coming from our Lord Buddha, which is our great venerable father, that guy up there, who gave us these teachings? And if you look carefully, you see that some things cannot be prevented. If you study death long enough and seen enough deaths in your life from many people around the world, um, it just a lot of things cannot be prevented. We strive to control. That's what we do. We always strive to control the factors that could lead up to their deaths.
the, the nurse that like interviewed thousands of patients on their deathbeds and wrote down the nine most regretful things that they had before
And
they died.
yeah, and one of them is that they wish that they could be themselves and not what other people want them to be. Right, right. So when are you gonna live for yourself? You're gonna be one old grumpy guy, and you're gonna be doing. I mean, you've been doing things for other people. That doesn't have to be a fear if you develop policies for yourself. And I'm here to help you create those policies and start implementing them. And the ex probably has to go because we have history of domestic violence, we have history of drug use, we got history, we have all alarming red flag. She's not good to you, she's not good for you, so what's the point? I don't see it. From based on the information I received from you, I can't rule that she's beneficial for you
I
at this
feel
time.
like if I cut her out, I just laid off my shoulders. It's like a burden for me.
And you don't have any problem communicating with me. So what makes you think you have communication problems with her, telling her that, listen, I can't take enough, I can't take any more of this because I'm trying to get better and you are
I'm scared of
impeding.
her now. It's hard to let
Huh.
go. It was like 5 years. We lived together in multiple different states. We went through a lot together. I got to know her on a very deep level.
But she doesn't listen to you nor respect you.
I,
So what is love? Is that what love is? Lying, disrespecting?
even from the start of our relationship, there was trust. After the first couple of weeks, I could have just left.
Hmm.
She would lie and lie and lie, and I would be so I wanted to believe it so bad, and I knew she was lying, but I just tricked my mind to believe her lie.
Uh-huh.
To just accept it.
Hmm.
So that way I would be more comfortable staying with it.
Hmm.
But in the back of my head, I really knew the truth.
but when you first met this girl,
right?
You had to have seen something in her. I mean, her potential.
She was working at Wayne House. Honestly, I just thought she had a nice ass. I started going to Wayne House a lot and hitting on him once a time.
Where you look for love usually determine the love that you find. Where you look for love, like in the strip club, will determine the love that you find. You meet someone at Harvard different than somebody in the strip club. Your life might change. You have to know how to investigate. You have to know how to investigate females. You have to know how to investigate where they've been, where they're at, who their family was, family backgrounds, like a detective. The modern day man now have to become a detective and investigate females they want in their life, or else they will ruin your life, and vice versa. I'm a monk, so I have to include everybody, including LGBTQIA plus. If I just sit here and just say man and woman, they might say, "Oh, well, he's taking sides or he hates blah blah." The view of the Buddha is that he doesn't discriminate anybody. That's their choice. That's their life. I don't really give too much thought to it. It's their choice in their life, right? It has nothing to do with me. If they alter their body, God gave them this body, and if they want to chop off certain things and be something else, the Buddha also says that your body is your vehicle for enlightenment. It helps you get from point A to point B. So take care of it, and they don't know how to take care of it.
But like for Chris Jenner, where do you think that switching mind? Where he thought I needed to be a team. He went from like an Olympic gold medalist runner guy, good dad, and he completely turned to a girl that just seems so wrong to her.
Yeah, and there was a Navy SEALs too, a very highly decorated Navy SEALs
How
who,
does that switch go? I don't understand that right now.
well,
Because what I've heard from them is they feel like they've always been a girl trapped in a guy's body. That's what they'll say.
yeah,
So I've investigated some of them before because I'm curious on why people think.
yeah, it is, but it's beyond our control. And what happened is the media influences so much on their choice. Eh,
I don't really. I mean, I'm not the same standpoint as Trump. I don't really get too much attention to it because the more time that I spend filling my battery being my brain, really think we use a lot of energy. The more time I spend thinking about things like that, too in depth, it just prolongs my own suffering.
What about teachers promoting it in classrooms for
It's
children?
beyond our control. We're not senators. We're not congressmen.
But how do you feel about that? Do you think that's wrong?
It doesn't matter how I feel about it because I can't change it.
Well, I just want
Yeah, I mean, it harms. Absolutely. It is harmful. A lot of information is harmful. But what can I do about it? I mean, if I get up there and hold the microphone and says, "You guys suck. You guys are gonna all go to hell," it doesn't change a thing. Tomorrow, a bunch of kids are gonna get gender reassignment surgeries. They're still gonna do what they're gonna do. They're gonna pump hormones. They should wait until they're 25 to make informed choices. I think they're making ill-advised decisions because their brain's not fully developed. Anyone under 25 should not take any actions in regards to permanent choices, permanent things done to their body, because their brain is still developing. That's science, and no one heeds that. So that makes them fools. And in Buddhism, we separate two things: the fools and the wise. And if we are the wise, we don't do what they do. Simply put, it's a very simple thing to rule on. However, sitting here debating on these subjects that is outside of our control is a waste of our time because we have our own life to live. You know, if you just think, if I sat here and thought about transgender people that long, I don't have a view on it. I have to go by what the Buddha says. He doesn't discriminate. I don't discriminate. I lean towards what science says. And if science says that you need to wait till 25 and they don't wait till 25, whatever, do what you do. You hear where I'm coming from, right? I I don't lean towards left or right. I lean in the middle. And the middle way is what science says. And if science says wait till 25 to make a choice, and if they don't, oh well, their body, their life. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And quite frankly, so is the Pope. When the Pope needed to change policies on gay marriages, they have to make some drastic changes in order to keep people in the church. And the bigger picture of it is you need to change your policy, or else they're going to go out and cheat, lie, kill, steal, not keep the holy Sabbath day and the whole 10 Commandments. So somewhere down the line, a bunch of cardinals, archbishops, got together and probably said, "Listen, we need to change our policy and accept gay people and lesbians and perhaps transgender, or else our churches are just going to be empty houses." You have to be educated enough wisdom to lean towards a side. You're so easily swayed by what you see and what you believe. That's the problem. Hopefully, you see the problem of worldview. If your worldview is so easily changed that way, how is it that you can adjudicate yourself as a wise person without all of the information put together before you form a view?
And that's what I view. So that's where I make my logical.
Are you Catholic?
I don't believe in Catholicism. They read in repentance.
Who wrote the Bible?
I know that there's tons of scriptures that we don't have access to, and it's just. I know the red text in the Bible is what Jesus said, and the most reliable Bible that I think that I found is the JFK version.
Mm.
And that's what I base my belief system like off of, because I met a guy from Honduras whose dad was a priest.
Uh,
I had a extreme spiritual experience
uh-huh.
where we were praying and like blood came from the cross.
Right. He was a priest, right?
He was
Yeah.
from Honduras and his dad was a priest.
Right. You had good experience with them, right? And the priest came from the Catholic Church, does he not? Yeah, but the word priest typically follows the Catholic.
I didn't priest, I knew just a Christian.
Uh,
He owns a Christian church in Honduras.
uh,
And I guess the kid I met from Honduras who moved down here, we became really good friends, and he would tell me these stories. He told me when he was young in Honduras, he was really sick,
Right.
he was dying, and then these two guys came in, like they basically took him to the hospital, and the hospital said just take him home. There's nothing we could do for him in Honduras.
uh.
And he said that these two guys came in with like black suits and just sang songs with him and like held his hand and like he felt better.
Oh.
And then his mom tried to like follow him in the car, and I guess the car like disappeared something. But I believe it's testimony. I've experienced like crazy stuff around him. So like
The truth about the Bible is that man wrote it. What does that tell you?
well, I thought the red text Jesus wrote, and that's God. And what,
I have the red text.
what is the red text?
Man wrote it. Man wrote what Jesus said. No different. No different.
Oh, I'm so glad Venerable Lee's here. Just because out of 84,000 teachings we have to study, we also have to study the Bible for questions like this. This is an old Bible, 1952, so it's 70 something years old, right? It's so old, it's probably older than my dad. Okay. Now the red text. It's so old, there's tape holding it together. The New King James Bible. Okay, all right. There's the red text. See, it's red in color. That's what Jesus said. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a dragnet that was cast into the sea and gathered some every kind. Man wrote this. Man Men are fallible, no different than men wrote our text, our Nikayas, 84,000 teachings. They wrote it.
I feel like this is crazy. Like done miracles, like
Right.
after that grave. So saying that Jesus isn't really real.
What I'm You based your belief on this, of which men wrote. When we go to Jerusalem and we go to other countries, they write differently. And so you don't listen very well. That's the first problem that I have identified so far. You notice that? You're quite argumentative. You can't learn if you speak often and not listen. Questions that are irrelevant to your suffering. That's where we're getting at. Questions that are irrelevant to your suffering. I'm trying to sit here pinpointing your suffering, but your views are outside of yourself, not within you. And your views within you are skewed. I don't know how you arrive to such conclusions, but there are a lot of missing informations before you make an informed choice on your views. Your view is very important. Your happiness is important, and it is based upon your view. How you form your view, you have to ask, how come I have these rigid views about these people? Well, I based it on the Bible. I based it on a Bible for which men wrote. And if men wrote it thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, and they keep on changing it, Tom, Dick, and Harry wrote it. Who is Tom, Dick, and Harry? What were their views of life before they wrote it and made changes to it? You have to question that, right? Is God real? He's real. Is Jesus real? He's real. No one dares to say he's not. That's how wars get started. And I'm telling you that different countries have different versions of the Bible. And for example, in Jerusalem, God says Jerusalem is the Holy Land. And in another country, God says that's the Holy Land. And that's how they clash. So they wrote it acceptable for their parties. So in different countries, you have different Bibles, and God tells them different things. That's a problem. That's a big problem.
How do you find something viable to read?
People look into the details of the Bible. Some things should be left. Some things should be ignored, and wait and let the Lord deal with it. We're not the Lord, and we should not act as a judge. We should love our neighbors, and we should sometimes think outside of the box of what the Bible says. And so let's put all this together. The people who have the authority to change the Bible in modern day, one of the biggest authority dating back is the Catholic Church. One should, if you're a Christian, you should look at the Catholic Church as a model to see how they do things and why they do what they do. Okay?
My thing against them is they do like the rosary and they pray in repentance. I thought
A lot of things are wrong in the Catholic Church. I agree. I agree. Again, we're still focusing on the little tiny nitpicking aspects of their faith, religion, practice, and philosophy. It's not the big picture. You have to know how to see the big picture. You see, this is why college is important. So hopefully, down the road, if this is what you want to study and if you want to challenge and make meaning, you need to study theology. If you need to study the Bible, you need to actually be a scholar of this thing right here. If you want this to guide your life, you need to take a master's degree level courses in order to understand the big picture of it.
we wrote an essay in my class and it was what do you think the world's religious views would be if there was no scripture? It was like a 15-page essay. So yeah, it was I actually framed out. But,
All of this is irrelevant to your suffering. It's not important right now.
So what should I do to help myself?
Well, number one, not be too attached on transgender. That's one of them. Number two, we got to worry about the weed. Number three, we need to worry about the ex girlfriend. These are irrelevant, imminent. Number four, you keeping a journal of your thoughts. I don't have a track record of your thoughts. The production of thoughts every day, right? Every moment of the day, every moment of the day, every second, every minute, this brain of yours produces, this mind of yours produces thoughts left to right, up and down. I don't know what. Today I'm getting a sample of a few thoughts, and you're quite attached onto them, which causes you a lot of peace, which causes you to be pessimistic. Do you even see it clearly? You hear yourself. If you don't, you go back to the recording, you can hear yourself.
Yeah, I know I'm have a before.
Right. And is that what Jesus all about? Was he pessimistic himself? There you have it. So you have misinterpreted the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Right. Right. So be like Jesus. Think like Jesus. Be like Jesus. Live like Jesus. It's something people don't know how to do. And when they start going into details of the Holy Bible, it's about control. It's about control. The Lord says Adam and Eve only. What are you, a judge? You're going to put everybody in jail if they're not Adam and Eve? Who are you to say? Who am I to say? You know what I'm saying? Irrelevant. A lot of things are irrelevant. I do. Heaven is right here. Heaven is now, right here. We're actually living on it right now. Whether you make this your heaven or hell is up to you. But if you think about it, people don't think about this. Jesus told us heaven is to be realized here on earth.
Didn't you also say that we're walking earth right now?
Plenty.
We're waiting, like the New Testament says that we're pretty much waiting for him to come back.
And so is the Antichrist.
So that's kind of where I got my pessimistic view from. I see a lot of demonic stuff that, or at least in my opinion, is demonic.
Well, you need someone to guide you through the understanding of the Bible, which is the most qualified people, I believe, on this planet to guide you properly if this is something that you want to guide your life, are Catholic priests. They're educated. They have at least master's degrees in the Bible or doctors of divinities. They have passed through background checks. They've passed through layers before they become priests, layers of years of observations before they get to be ordained as a deacon and then a priest and then a bishop. There are layers of security under the watchful eyes of other qualifying managers in the Catholic Church. Well, and you will have to live with that suffering. You will have to live with the views that you have formed and truly believe. And no one's going to change that. Now, I'm not here to change it. I'm not a Catholic priest, but you're not. You need to ask yourself, how am I going to get good information and from who? How do you trust pastors? What are the qualifying criteria to be a pastor? How do you trust doctors, right? How do you assess and evaluate doctors that's treating you right now? Tell me. How do you trust them? When they write you a prescription and you take it, how do you deem that this is safe and I should, in fact, trust this guy that's giving me something that could kill me? How they act and if they seem genuine. Well, hopefully by the end of the day, you learn a lot of new things. And let me educate you about those new things about an American doctor. An American doctor has to go to school, 4 years of undergraduate, 4 years of medical school, at least 3 years of residency, internship. And if they are pain management, which is what you're going through, then there's an additional 2 to 3 years, up to 4. in essence, after high school, they've already spent a good 14 years of medical education in order to be a doctor. Before a doctor becomes a doctor, they have to pass the USMLE. Before all of that, even before medical school, they have to pass the another entrance exam, and then the USMLE. I better get this right. All right, and then they get their license. And then they get a DEA number. Then they get a yeah. So there's layers of security before they get to sit there and says, yes, I am a licensed physician. And then they have to get board certified. So you want to choose board certified doctors, because if you don't, then they didn't pass their board. They may forget a few things in medical school and writing prescription a little blindly, right? That's how we come to trust American doctors. But when I asked you that question, you didn't know all of that. You just said if they seem genuine and what? Genuine and nice. So anyone out there who's genuine and nice, you would trust them. How do you know they have good intentions or not?
What they, what they have to offer for you, or if they're just taking.
Right. So you believe in word of mouth. You just believe what they say to you and how they, if you think they're genuine. Keyword think, and you've seen the patterns of your thinking and how it has misled you, right? You believed most of your friends to be trustworthy, so you thought until they betrayed you. It was based on your thinking. So there's faulty in your thinking. You saw that. See what I mean? Right. So hopefully you catch that within yourself, that I don't know how to think. I don't know how to think. I don't know how to assess. I don't know how to evaluate. So therefore, you can't put trust in yourself because you don't know the how before you jump to conclusions. You jump to conclusions without knowing the how, and you deemed it to be this is my conviction of this. Oh boy. And on top of that, you came here because you put your faith and belief and respect in Buddhism, but you see how
Well, I know Buddhism is tied to a lot of holistic medicine. I believe that.
hmm,
I don't really know much about it besides what you said.
so when you don't know things, how do you research them?
AI now.
Mm,
AI.
mm. How can we trust AI?
Yes, intelligent answer.
Yeah, sounds intelligent, right? Mm,
They made AIs that can outperform the best chess players in the world, outperforming human ability. And now there's AIs that compete against AIs, so no human can make them better.
and are you aware that AI in the near future is going to write the new Bible? You aware of that?
I don't know if there's a problem with it because a lot of controversial things, like even Elon Musk has said we need to slow down on this because it could potentially be dangerous. I know that we can develop diseases that are way more disastrous than anything in the world. By asking it to develop something like that, its capabilities are very beyond ours.
Mm.
I don't really see how they would, if AI would don't even believe AI on a Bible level.
Hmm. Yeah, it's going. It already has the Bible in its head. AI already has control over the body of knowledge of all of the Bibles. So what you're telling me is we should let AI control us.
The way Elon Musk describes it, he says our phone is basically like we're already AI. We can look up anything on our phone, but the rate of information from our phone to our brain is slow. They can put a chip in your brain.
Yeah, foolish people rely on their phones for information. Foolish people don't know how to decipher what is good information and bad information. Foolish people don't know what is good research and bad research. The wise knows better. We know what is fake and what is not. We know how to look up what is fake and what is not. Can you tell me something that is fake? If I print out something and give it to you, are you able to tell me where did this come from? How can we believe this information?
I have to do my due diligence, research first, and I can give you an educated response based off of picture and
Hmm. Do you know what peer-reviewed journals are? So how do we proceed on with this X? How are you going to start to detach yourself from her and start formulating zero tolerance policies?
so I can't be saying that it's not good for
Hmm.
me remembering eventually so I don't give her attention to something else off.
All right. Let me back up for a little bit. Maybe I'm going too fast here. Let me define for you what Buddhism is. Okay. In this school of Buddhism, there's three schools. This is called Theravada, School of the Elders. We're the oldest, longest, still continuing school of Buddhism. The Buddha taught, yeah, things should be done holistically, right? Especially when it comes to the mind. It means that when we deal with the mind, we have to try to not touch intoxicating substances in order to keep a mind that is aware, alert, and intelligent so that we know what's unfolding, our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. So earlier I heard that you smoked weed yesterday with her. What's going on with the weed thing? Hmm. So your intention is to use it temporarily until you get over this thing. And eventually you want to abandon it.
Well, I have scoliosis. I keep long term with moderation. I don't want to use it.
So that's where the organic, holistic part of Buddhism is that the Buddha frowns upon any intoxicating substances unless of course in exigent circumstances where the existence of chronic pain is. But in Buddhism we assert that the more aware and awake you are without needing alcohol or any other drugs or intoxicating substance to figure out our minds, how our mind is tripping. You have to know how it's tripping, where it's tripping, who it's tripping with. That's it. That's where it comes in. So I think after today, you probably need to do some research on Buddhism and see our standpoint. Though I think the first, if you commit to this path, the first thing is to take the precepts, which you promise to yourself you won't kill, you won't steal, you won't lie, you will try not to use intoxicating substances, and commit sexual misconduct. That's the first thing. Is so basic, pretty much cutting back on the drama in your life before you can. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, anything I can do to like help my stomach. It's been like I'm in so much pain every day.
It depends on how you eat, what you eat, if you exercise or not, if you follow the food pyramid or not. So it's a question for medical doctors. My job is to worry about this thing up here, the way how people think. I'm not qualified to give medical advice, and that's for gastroenterologists, GI doctors, to probe in there, perhaps do colonoscopy and see what's happening. I mean, eating junk food for a couple years not going to be good, or not eating at all, or lack of certain nutrition can affect a lot of things. Stress can affect your stomach, and you've lived a really stressful life so far. Stress can trigger IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. GERD, right, right.
That happened when I was with her.
Omeprazole, right? You had to take a lot of omeprazole. Mm. Mm. Yeah, you're gonna need a whole medical team to jump in and do all sorts of blood tests and stuff like that. No, he'll walk out voluntarily. He sees me and he runs the other way.
What do you think about roaches? Is it bad to kill them?
You cannot kill in Buddhism. It's bad karma. That roach was once a human just like you and I. Was a human. Then he took rebirth. That's where he's at.
Why do you think it's human being?
Because they've done some bad shit in their life. And so karma, they're on karma's shit list. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. It depends on their karma. Everything karma.
Animals don't have a conscience.
Sure they do. They do.
Morality.
They can feel and they do have consciousness. There are donkeys who have committed suicide once their young have died.
Our morality right wrong.
From what we see in the rules and values that we establish, a set rules, we call that law, right? And it starts with the law of God, which is the Ten Commandments. That's where morality and ethics started coming in, because somebody had the bright idea of writing it down. And of course, we see the suffering because we can feel, right? We can feel when we kill. When we kill, we see consequences. Do you think your parents can meet with me to talk about this new plan that we're coming up with?
Yeah, we should probably do that.
You check on the status of your dad.
Sorry, I don't mean to take up too much of your time.
Oh, you're good. I just wanted to see where you've been, where we're at now, and how to proceed on forward. Mm. Hopefully, you just continue with this type of treatment with those people. You know, get get well, get better. Your body needs to be well before we can start focusing on your mind.
I told my mom, my dad didn't answer. You want me to try to get this up now?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
are you busy? Oh, we already left the airport. Okay, this is pretty much done for today. Okay. You know how far are you? Alright. So you done?
It's on his way.
On the bridge or something?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't know. Probably won't even put his head down.
I just want to ask you a few questions real quick. Do you find yourself to be argumentative? Yeah. How come? Where does it come from?
Don't like when people try to pick on me or something, or when try try to see the facts, you know, you come to
You been bullied before when you were in school?
uh, school a bunch of times. I went to private school. Got
Mm.
bullied there. I got kicked out of high school like 3 times.
You remember why you were bullied?
It's so weird.
What else?
I'm like, stuff, but not really. Really just my skin color because I was tan. It was weird because I didn't think I don't like black people. Uh,
Oh no, we all do.
but even recently, like when I moved out to Seattle in my 20s,
Hmm.
they would do like little things that would definitely bully. Like they would just leave me out of certain things that they were all doing. Things that I wanted to be a part of, like having me do the shitty part of stuff. Others just like, you know, there's I've just been mistreated a lot
Hmm.
by people I trusted.
So who do you listen to though? Who do you look up to for advice?
Look up to my dad and mom. Now I don't even know if I can. I don't even know if I can rely on them. But for example, my mom one day told me that she wanted to leave my dad and all this stuff, and then in a flash instant, she stayed with him. So I'm so confused about that. And then the way she described it made me not like my dad as much. So I mean, I guess I used to go to church. I used to look up to that different Honduras.
Hmm.
He's a very good like spiritual leader for me. Really helped
Did
me
he
a lot.
run the church or was he part of the church?
Yeah, he's part of the church, the generation church. Trinity.
Where is he now?
Um,
You still talk to him?
opened up a storage unit with his name. They both really, really religious. They were gonna come see me today, but I was busy doing other stuff. I thought it'd be more important to come here.
Uh, I think that would be a good start to give him a call and probably go back to doing what you guys were doing. You know, it's a good support system. Yeah. And your stomach's been killing you since you last saw me. I noticed that.
Drink water too. I usually sometimes I can pull it up. I don't know if I'm pull it down. So I'm trying because I'm like starving.
Mm,
I'm exhausted. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight again.
mm.
Yeah. Think that's more mental, or do you think that's just the,
Both. You got a lot going on.
would you say I'm in pause phase or acute withdrawal?
That's up to the experts to determine. I
They
have.
told me I was in pause when I was there, but I did a lot of research and I researched that definitely had all the symptoms of acute.
Mm,
So I don't know what to believe.
chronic acute pause. Not sure. Your body's gonna take its course, even if they did make a good educated guess. We just have to watch. They just have to watch what's going on. They have to track it. Takes weeks and weeks and weeks for them to watch.
Do you think I should just ask if I can't hold anything down for a while?
You should follow their recommendation, whatever they told you to do. I can't give you medical advice because it could do you more harm to you. Everyone's human body is different and behaves differently, you know. But it's not good if you're not eating. You won't have energy and lack of kidney failure and all that. A lot of failures of the vital organs. Yeah, right there, right there. Feel free. Huh? Huh? Yes. Now do you see we need School of Jidao? Now do you see without School of Jidao? Now they're gonna believe what AI tells them. And now you also see that the superior teachings of the Buddha is superior above all the dhammas in the world. Because why? Because different people wrote other texts, not just the Bible, but other texts also. Changes what they want to change in it. Has nothing to do with loving kindness, acceptance, and everything else. And once that has become conviction, certain conviction leads to severe mental health and extremism.
Also, like, throwing up blood, but they said that was fine, there.
Yeah, they're watching. They're watching everything. That's how your body's behaving. It's your body's obviously very whacked out right now. When we ate last time, you were really, really, really sick. So obviously you look better now than when we were at the restaurant.
Fine, progress.
Mm. You've seen therapists before? For how many years? No. Why?
I feel like it was helping me at all. My time,
They just ask a bunch of stupid questions.
like, therapist, some of them are genuine, but the ones I got kind of pulled me away from trying it and gave up on it.
Hmm.
They would just sit there and talk to me like pointless stuff, like an hour, empty, like nothing was accomplished.
Pointless? Like what? Well, who cares about those therapists anymore? Did you think that this session has helped you?
Definitely understand that I don't understand
Mm,
much as I thought I understood.
mm.
I need to do more research, have a different view on people, be more forgiving, and understand that everybody makes mistakes. Not everybody's perfect. That doesn't mean they're a bad person.
Let me give you something. Let me give you some words of wisdom in regards to research and information you find on the web. A lot of people have their opinions. You have to know what is an opinion and what is a fact. And you have to look up the author who wrote it. Who wrote it, from what institution they belong to, whether or not they have an educational background and degrees to back up what they say, whether or not they're an expert in the field. Hi, Dad.
Oh, gosh.
Man, you've been all over the city. It's like a victory lap.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Biggest joke. I'm in baggage claim, right? So I asked the baggage guy, where's lost and found? Oh, you gotta go up to floor number 4, take the walkway, go through the parking lot. So I'm doing all this. I'm going, what's he talking about? So I see lost and found, please. So I go in there and they say, we don't have anything like that. You need to go down to level 1 where I was at. But I asked the guy, I said, there's a thing right there for your lost wallet. Right where I was.
Oh, our airport system is pretty useless.
Yes, they're
Everyone there is useless. Pretty much because I have the same problem there, and I work as an interpreter daytime, and I had a custom border patrol case, and I was running around trying to look for custom border patrol, and I'm like, what if there was an emergency right now? I wonder if there's any police officer. There's no one around. Even if you scream, no one can hear you. It's not very impressive. So I rendered our airport useless.
for the airport, and like it's even so terrible. Like I need wheelchair service because I can't walk straight.
Right.
And they, like these two ladies, as I was getting off the flight, my bags were right at their feet, and I was in the wheelchair, and they wouldn't bring them. You know, they were being really
Oh.
like when I said I had to use the restroom really bad, they were like, "You can't go right now." And I said, "Just poop my pants."
Do you need to add anything, or do you have any questions for me, Dad, on your end? Pretty much today, I just asked him, where he's been, what he's been doing since last time we met. Obviously, he's taking his recovery a lot more serious now, given the withdrawals, symptoms of that. He just wants to get better. That tummy is still going on, and I told him to just follow through with this and all of their medical recommendation and advice, so that his body is well. Once his body's well, we can focus on up here. I gave him recommendations on trying to probably get rid of the ex for now. I don't see any benefits of her sticking around. She's compounding his suffering, both mind and body. Uh, so cutting back on the drama, um, and we'll just have to watch how he does in the next couple of weeks, and then proceed on from there. But it's been a wealth of information and insight into where he's at. So I mean, hopefully you make a good, quick recovery soon. I'm scheduled to travel in February, perhaps, maybe sooner. And I just always wonder where he's been. I was thinking about him yesterday. Now he's here. Yeah, I was just like, wait a minute. Out of all the cases that I've counseled, whatever happened to Jordan? I told Sam that, and then he called me. What is it? This morning? Something like this morning. And yeah, usually on the weekend we play sports to keep fit, but I was like, well, no, I'm gonna reserve this whole day for Jordan, and I have to meet with Jordan. So yeah, and then down the road, if y'all want to speak with me as a family, or or both husband and wife, or mom and dad want to get together, I just wanted to see what, any updates on your end in the household that you want me to know in helping him. But I appreciate you taking him down. Hey, all y'all gonna need some rest after this.
Right.
Yeah, take care, okay? We'll see you next time. You look good. Gain some weight too.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, thank you for choosing Tampa International.
Yeah. No, I'm the most mellow guy you'll ever meet in the world.
Well, not today, you're not.
Last night when I picked him up,
Yeah.
I go into Delta and on the curb thing, and he called us. He's walking out.
He came back from where?
Detroit. Oh, that's where he did the process. So
Okay.
the RoboCop, I call him the mall cop that they have there, walks up. I'm there 10 seconds. Walks up in Mary Jane's window and says, "I'm writing you a ticket." And walks to the back of my car. I got out of my car and I went back. I said, "What did you say?" He goes, "I'm going to write you a ticket." I said, "For what?" Because you shouldn't be sitting there. I said, "My passenger's coming out in a wheelchair. That doesn't matter to me." I said, "You know what? You're Hispanic, I'm white. I consider this a racial situation." No, really?
Yeah.
Because they're all using racial against the whites against them.
Yeah.
So I said, I consider this a racial event. And if you give me a ticket, I promise you I will take it and I'll stick it up your ass. So I'll see if I get anything in the mail.
Yeah, my dad's not going to mess with either.
So I wasn't wrong when I said our Tampa airport is useless, right? People coming out in wheelchairs and they're giving people a hard time.
Right.
Take care.
Thank you, man. It was really nice seeing you.
Yeah, likewise. Take care of yourself, okay? You need me, call me. Sam. Yes.